up, guys? This is Rise and welcome to another video. This is an exciting one where we were able to hit number 5 on the Go Battle League global leaderboard at an elo of 3,580. Definitely my highest elo of the season and my highest ranking on the leaderboard of this season. I think previously number 10 was the highest we hit. So exciting stuff, and I'm going to show you the team and the battles that got me there. So if you enjoy this content, leaderboard pushing, feel free to leave a like and subscribe. It takes a lot of time in the queue times to get some of these battles. But yeah, pretty cool. There we are, number 5. This is a live look at the leaderboard, updated earlier today. And yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. The team we are running is Shadow Nidoqueen, along with Cresselia and Umbreon. Now, I'll be the first to admit with this team, Shadow Nidoqueen is more of an oppressive type of Pokemon. I wouldn't call it the most skill-based. I just found it to be really strong against a lot of leads. And one thing I've noticed over time in the high elo ranges is teams don't necessarily always make perfect sense. And I think I partially attribute that to this team as well, because one lead that's obviously very poor for this team, if you guys decide to run it, is Shadow Alolan Sandslash, or just Alolan Sandslash in general. Really tough lead for this team. I think I've only been able to beat it once because, like, maybe I swapped Cress and it was Powder Snow, and then Cress can actually do okay against Powder Snow, a Slash, and then after that was gone, the Nido was really good. So it's very tough to beat an Alolan Sandslash lead with this team, but I haven't been seeing too many of them, and at this elo range, you play a lot of the same people over and over again. So the very basic strategy with this team, if you decide to run this for yourself, is you really want to win switch advantage if possible. I typically will utilize Cresselia as my safe swap if I don't win switch advantage, but if it's any sort of neutral or positive lead, I want to make sure I win switch, I win alignment. That way I can align my back two Pokemon together, and Cresselia and Umbreon tend to cover each other quite well. There's not a whole lot of things that are going to beat both Cresselia and Umbreon. Obviously, like Registeel would be one, but in the current meta, they cover each other pretty well. We have a few like frame drops at certain points in this video, but there's not too many of them. Umbreon against Mr. Diggersby here. Gonna throw off these foul plays. We'll get more into the specifics of these battles now, as we're going up against this Diggersby. Umbreon gonna land the move. I'm gonna be able to catch on Cress, and it's kind of a nice catch, but like honestly, he kind of had to throw. He was about to go down, so as long as I reacted quickly enough, I was gonna be able to make that catch. And then the Digmeister is still lurking. And you actually see me make a bit of a mistake here. There's probably no reason for me to no-shield at this point, because a Hyper Beam could be dangerous. And look at that, it is a Hyper Beam, but luckily Umbreon is such a tank, it actually lives it. So kind of lucky. I mean, that Hyper Beam was nearly enough, so a bit of an unnecessary no-shield there from me. That was a little bit risky. Unnecessary risk. But we start off with a nice win. The queue times started to get pretty brutal up here. So let's see if I can drag appropriately. J Mills, the next opponent. Terrific battler. This was a game I remember J Mills kind of wish he had back because he made a few questionable plays. We're going to build up here with Nido. Deoxys is one of the rare leads there that I will give up switch because I have 2 better answers. We lure out Sableye, which is not great for Cress, but because he was a little bit slow, I think Cress should be able to win the zeros here. So look at that. We CMP on the grass now with this foul play, so at least we're going to be able to get a shield advantage out of this. Going for the grass knot here. And he's going to farm us down, of course. We do get a shield advantage. Now, from J Mill's perspective, he knows I have a Fang loaded, so he's going to throw foul play right away. But we came in with the Umbreon to try and fool him a little bit. He gives up switch, goes into Charizard. And once again, I don't necessarily think this was the play, but to be fair, if he had let himself get snarled down, he's probably in a bad spot either way. So he puts it pretty much all on Deoxys at this point. Sableye still does have some residual energy, but it's quite low. I'm expecting Deoxys to come in. I do respect the move with a shield here. And he does successfully Thunderbolt bait me, but at the same time, that forces him to expend extra energy. So not the worst thing in the world to shield that. Now we're going to see another move coming through. I actually decided to double shield my Nidoqueen, because this will force Sableye to dump its energy. And at this point, my switch timer should be coming up, so I can look to dip out of here, get the Snarl down on the Sableye. And we're going to try and... yeah, he knows it's over there, so... That is a G to the G. G to the G trainer. Let's see if I can skip forward here a little bit. Magic Mason. Magic Mason, one of the coolest guys in the community. A friend, a teammate. And we have a okay lead here. Not the best, not the worst. I decided to catch on 8 in case he goes for a potential future sight here. And check this out, actually was the future sight. We managed to catch it on our own crest. And once again, I typically will utilize Cresselia as my safe swap and not Umbreon. I feel like if you get countered by a Carbink these days, there's a fair amount of Carbinks lurking around. And Umbreon gets countered by a Carbink, you're immediately in a pretty rough spot. Luckily, because of Cress's bulk, I do force him to throw another move here. It's kind of nice. Now, this seems like an uncomfortable, especially with him running Aqua Tail, an uncomfortable situation for Nido to come into. So I think I end up deciding to come in with Umbreon. And because he waited a turn to see what I came in with, we end up getting a sneak there. I'm just going to throw this foul play right away to get rid of this Drapion before... okay, don't worry, this is actually part of the footage. This isn't my screen airing out right now. My screen aired out at the time of the stream, so we're back. And so basically all you missed there on the screen was Drapion getting knocked out, Greninja came in, and Nidoqueen's going to look to go on a tear here. I do decide to respect another future sight, but it's just a Grass Knot. Even a Grass Knot would have done a lot. And I believe the Greninja did 2 Water Shuriken and then dipped out. So I'm aware that Greninja is still 1 Water Shuriken away from a move. So what I decided to do here is I can commit to a farm down on the Cresselia. And I can safely do 1 jab and throw Poison Fang at the Greninja. Greninja pretty much has to shield this. Otherwise, the last resort from Umbreon, or the Snarls from Umbreon, are going to be enough. So, yeah, Mason kind of in an impossible spot there. Chose to no shield. And Umbreon's going to Snarl down. G to the G. I encourage you guys to go check out Magic Mason's stream. Super cool dude. Bentusi's the next opponent. Bentusi, top trainer, Chilean battler. We've got Nido into Lickitung. And if you guys decide to run this team that I'm running, one thing I like to do against Lickitung lead is this. I'm giving away my secrets, but I'm normally going to build up to EP and bait Poison Fang. Sometimes I will go for the EP. But I do want to make sure I win alignment here because Lickitung, Medicham, Carbink is a team I've been seeing. Well, I guess in that scenario, Crest would probably end up on Carbink anyway. I've been seeing Lickitung with Carbink specifically. And you do need to get switch advantage if you see a Carbink. There's a Mandibuzz in the back, and this is totally fine. Because we're going to be able to debuff this twice, which is really nice. Which is going to really allow Umbreon to secure this matchup. It's a very even matchup, Umbreon versus Mandibuzz. But with all this chip damage, suddenly Umbreon is in a great spot here. And then we'll see what's in the back, I'm sure. It's a Medi, and Bentusi probably knows it's over at this point, yeah. Top left. So this team, I mean, I'm not going to say it doesn't take skill to operate, but it's definitely kind of one of those win-lead, win-game type of teams oftentimes. Similar to people that run like Shadow Dragonair lead with an RPS backline. they're kind of just trying to win the lead and then line things up in the back. So it's a pretty straightforward strategy. A game like this, not as straightforward. I'm not going to be able to beat Mantine without going down shields. So I decided to do some damage, pivot into Cress, and luckily for me, they don't have an obvious answer to Cress. At least it appears that way. Mantine stays in. When someone stays in as well, and that's usually a sign they don't have an obvious answer. So I'm building up extra energy in case they dip out eventually, if they're trying to like chip and dip. So now even if they were to dip here, I'd still have energy to threaten. He actually shields the Mantine, so this is telling me his back line must be pretty dang soft to Cresselia. Gonna go for the Moonblast here. Connects, and then I combo play with the Poison Fang. So I am gonna give up switch, locking in my Nidoqueen, but we get rid of this Mantine and we're up a shield. In comes Diggersby. That's not great for us. I decided to Fang here, which is questionable, but I wanted to make sure I got off a move before a Scorching Sands takes me out. So at least this way, Diggersby is debuffed. And I'm probably just going to let this go at this point because I think I would get outpaced to the Earth Power anyway. So we let it go. We've still got a fully healthy Umbreon, a little bit of health on Cress. We're up a shield. The back Pokemon, okay. Metacham, this looks kind of rough. This looks kind of rough. Because he can simply let this go. You see a little bit of frame droppage there. And he does let us get off the Moonblast, but it kind of makes sense, right? Because he knows he can safely just shield this and then counter all the way down. And at this point, I'm kind of like, yikes. Ice Shield is just an Ice Punch. It's unfortunate. But because of that health on that Diggersby and the fact that we're going to need at least 2 moves to knock out this Medi, this just doesn't really seem feasible. He makes a nice catch on the Digmeister, and at this point, I know this game is essentially over, so I think I top left her. Do I not top left? Am I playing this out? Past Rise, why are you playing this out? This game is over. I guess I'm just like kind of playing it out. Rather than top lefting, I'm just letting him take me out. Makes sense. Scorching Sands knocks us out, but we are able to get a 4-1 that set. What you're going to see is, which you are going to see is going to put us at a pretty high elo. We got a whole nother set after this for you. We catch a little Scraggy as a reward. Check those IVs. Also, as you see, we get put to 3488 from that set. Also, if you are thinking, Rise, why Moonblast over Future Sight? I did run Future Sight with this team, and this little clip is just to show you I got 2 points for a 3-2 the next set. So, or I think there were like maybe 2 3-2s in between there. We got like 4 points for a 3-2 and then 2 points for a 3-2. And then it's back to another set here. But yeah, I did run Future Sight. Future Sight is really nice for neutral matchups, doing some heavy hitting damage against things like Lickitung. It actually flips that matchup. Believe it or not, it flips the Powder Snow Sandslash matchup in the Zero Shield scenario. We play Bentusi again, and this is what happens when you play, when you're in this elo range. You play the same people oftentimes twice in a day. I had someone tag me saying like, Raj, you RPS'd me twice in the same day. That's definitely, I've definitely been on the opposing side of that myself. I think Tho beat me twice when he was streaming. It was brutal. But we're going to try and win this lead matchup as we've talked about. We get both shields. And this seems kind of counterintuitive, right? The shields here, I'm so low. Like, why not just take the shield advantage? Switch is quite important with this team. And actually get the full farm down too, which is quite nice. And, yeah. Bentusi was out of there. He was out of there. He knew what was coming. Terrific lead here against Buzzwole. Once again, the Nidoqueen lead, man. Putting in work. A little bit slow on the Cresselia counter swap here. Because I've encountered Water Gun Lantern safe swap a few times, and I wasn't convinced that Cress could win this like in every situation. Like, I was wondering if he lands a Thunderbolt or something, like if he can 2-shield Water Gun down. But it looks like Cress has enough health where I'm going to get to like 4 Grass Knots no matter what. As long as I'm willing to use shields eventually. So, like, I'll use a shield here because I want to maintain switch. I can't afford to let Buzzwole get lined up against my Umbreon. That would be bad news. I don't think I'd go for an undercharge here or anything fancy. I just want to get rid of Lantern. He shields. And then he goes for the catch 1 too early, or maybe like 2 too early, so that is beneficial for us. And I'm just going to Moonblast while I'm here. While I'm here, just going to Moonblast. And we actually get the Psycho Cut down first, which is kind of nasty. And our opponent top left. So another team comp victory, to be honest. Like, I'm going to be the first to say when we win a game based off of team comp and not outplaying our opponent. We're getting some really nice team comps with this team. Here come the comments about the easy mode account. Nidoqueen against Dragonair here. Don't love Dragonair leads because usually switch is really important, and I usually have to go down a shield. I also ran into a game where I didn't need to win switch against Dragonair lead, and I used the extra shield against Crescent Angels, and because I used the extra shield, I lost. So I actually decided to go for a catch this time. I don't always play it the same way. I go for a catch, I give up switch. In comes his own Cresselia, and I'm thinking this is kind of bad because if the back poke... I mean, if there's a Cresselia here, you would think the back Pokemon probably beats Umbreon. So I think at this point in the game, I was concerned it was a Carbink, and I was like, you know, if it's a Carbink, I think we just lose. So we're just going to play it out till we see what's in back and go from there. Moonblast coming through. It is nice having Moonblast for the Cresselia Mirror since it's a little more efficient than Grass Knot, I believe, here. This Cress is shiny, by the way. Very cool. Very stylish. We go for the Grass Knot. Since the opponent had Grass Knotted the prior time, I decided I better get this off to make sure I get off more damage. Because this sets up a potential Snarl down if our opponent was to stay in. But they probably are going to dip out of here. Looks like they're going to build up to a move and then swap out. Now, I decided to swap in Fang right away, knowing I'm going to get countered down. But this way, I can apply a debuff here and make this a comfortable, like, 2 foul play range for Umbreon. I think I decided to let it go because I'd rather eat a DP, I think, at this point than I would shield an Ice Punch. Because if I shield an Ice Punch and then allow Cresselia to Moonblast me later, that would be pretty devastating. I think I kind of had to take the risk that they weren't running Dynamic Punch there. Foul play coming through. Grabs the final shield from the Medi. I feel like he would have DP'd if he had it, so we're just going to assume it's running Psychic at this point. And I just throw right away to get rid of this thing. Because I figure at this point I can just save a shield for Cress. And then I should be able to take out everything else rather comfortably. What was still there? The Dragonair is still there. And this is where knowing your energy is really important. Because I knew I could do 4 Snarls here and get the Snarl down because the Dragonair was completely dry from that lead scenario. They had to throw right away at the Nidoqueen to try and win that matchup. We caught that move. So knowing that the Dragonair was at 0 energy, we're able to get the full 4 Snarl down, have a foul play ready to go for Cress. Nidoqueen into Serp. Good lead. In comes Zone. Dude, I play this game so badly. So badly. Okay, so I'll show you where I mess up here. We don't really have an obvious answer to the zone, so I'm staying in. I go for the Poison Fang bait here. Now, what I should have done after I get this Poison Fang bait is just go Umbreon right away. It's debuffed. Foul play plus Snarls is probably enough. But instead, I allowed Zone to build up energy and then go. And now he's at double Wild Charge. And I like try to call a bait here, which is kind of unnecessary. And I lose switch. And all of a sudden, this game has been totally flipped on its head. And I am not too thrilled about this situation. He's quadruple debuffed, so I'm going to try to go for a jab down. We do get the attack, fellow. No. Luckily, he doesn't get to another mirror shot. So at least we have all this energy. We're going to go for the Earth Power against this Quag. I go into Cress. Now, I think the opponent messed up here. I think if they had just gone Serp right away, they would have been in a better spot. Instead, they waited, allowed my Cress to get this massive head start, and we get the attack fell. And now Cress should be able to win this matchup more comfortably. Still not 100% sure where I'm going to use my Protect Shield. That's kind of the tricky thing at this point. We know Quag has a move. Moonblast doesn't quite knock out. I know because of the attack fell, I should live a Frenzy here, no problem. So I actually take the Frenzy. Gonna go for a full Psycho Cut down. We have the Grass Knot ready. It's CMP. And now I'm just gonna shield. And I know I'm 2 away on Nido. And I'm just hoping that he's at least 2 away on Quag. I kind of lost track. But let's see what happens. We get the shield. We swap. And we get off the Earth Power on what was CMP. So a super close game. We did not play that optimally, but we were still able to find a way to win with some nice endgame energy management. So that's a good example of not giving up. Even if you misplay, still stick it out till the end. And here you go. You all wanted to see it rise. What do you do against the Sandslash lead? We end the last battle with a Sandslash lead. Let's see what we do. Let's see what we do. We swap into Cress as our quote-unquote safe swap. It's still a terrible matchup for Cress. So the other option would be to go straight into Umbreon. But the problem is, if you go straight Umbreon and they swap out, then how are you going to beat that Sandslash in the back? So that's why we go into Cress here. I guess I could theoretically stay in with Nido. That's another option. I could stay in with Nido, maybe take a move, get a shield, and then try to go to work with the back too. But this is looking pretty brutal, especially because he'll most likely pivot out here. And if he pivots out, it's like, what do I do? Yeah. Oh, man. Oh, man. Also, because it was a non-shadow, if it was a Shadow Slash, I don't think I can stay in with Nido, because I think the Drill Run would just straight up knock me out. Or maybe even the Ice Punch. But a non-Shadow, maybe that would have been a good scenario where I could have stayed in, lost that matchup, come in Umbreon, he goes Medi, I counter swap Cress, and maybe we still have a shot. We've got all this energy, we bait, but he's got a move loaded. So this game is just so over, bro. Let's stick it out to see what's in the back. This Ice Punch will knock us out. Let's see. Umbreon down a shield against Azumarill. Yikes. So, yeah. Don't think that was a game we were going to be able to win pretty much no matter what we did. I guess the only thing I can think of is if I swap Umbreon, he swaps Azu, and I somehow get like a big jab down and maybe like double bait. I don't know. That's probably like the only scenario I could think of. But pretty RPS game there. We definitely had a lot of favorable leads. Last game of the video, not so favorable lead. And then it was doing this weird glitch to me where Lickitung was like running away as my reward. I'd never seen this before, but some people in the chat said they've encountered this before. So we restart our app. We come back. Does it finally give us the Lickitung? It does. There we go. Caught the Lickitung. And let's see what elo we end up at. It's not quite going to be the 3580 like I probably put in the title or the thumbnail. But it's close to that. Yo, Rise, press OK, man. Why are you taking so long? And there it goes. It was 3521. And then the next set after that off stream, because the queue times are so long, I decided to end the stream. We actually went 5-0 in the Go Battle League. Maybe I can show you if it's still in my game. If it's still in my journal. Yeah, won 5 out of 5 matches in the Go Battle League. So I believe. Oh, I didn't even realize we played the same person twice in a row. They did tag us. That was the person I mentioned tagged us. And I didn't even notice in the video when I was shoutcasting, but GG's to them. I think they got me in the previous time we faced, so we were able to get one back. And then we won 5 out of 5, which put us at 3580. That's the video. If you guys enjoyed this video, feel free to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. If you are new, comment down below. All comments are appreciated. And that said, thank you for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.